Alright, so here we have the Sinn 956 Rally Chronograph. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. This piece, as you can tell, was actually inspired from automotive concepts, and it does have the look of the gauges that you see inside vehicles. You even notice that the power reserve kind of looks like a fuel indicator. Now, the tachymeter, which is on the outside chapter ring of the dial, is a dual tachymeter, and it has for miles per hour in addition to kilometers per hour. Now, the case is very, very nice brushed stainless steel. Very, very beautifully done. Obviously a chronograph. You have a very nicely signed crown. It is a screw down crown, and it has a 10 bar or 100 meter water depth resistance. The case back is also screwed down. You have a sapphire glass on the front and a display back also with a sapphire glass, and we'll talk more about the movement in a second. So let's go over some of the dimensions. We're looking at a case diameter of 41.5 millimeters, a lug width of 22 millimeters. The case thickness comes in at 15 millimeters. Now, in terms of the movement, we're looking at a mechanical chronograph automatic movement. And in here, we have the Valjoux 7750, 25 joules, 28,800 beats per hour. This piece is also shock resistant in addition to anti-magnetic. Now let's go ahead and take a closer look at what happens when you manually wind the Valjoux 7750 movement in the Sinn 956. As you can see, I mean, when you wind it, the rotor just starts spinning, and it's actually very, very beautiful thing to look at. Charging your watch all up, and then it is absolutely ready to rock and roll. So very, very impressive offering from Sinn. Now, I've been wearing the piece for over a week, and this was actually lent to me by Anree, one of our subscribers, and it is an absolutely beautiful piece. Now, this piece is extremely comfortable to wear. I had absolutely no issues with it. Initially looking at it in pictures, and it really just goes to show that if there's a piece that you like, you know, try to get someone that has it to either lend it to you, let you wear it, because pictures really just don't do this piece justice. Initially when I saw it on the website, I did like it, but I was like, well, you know, not completely sold on it. However, wearing it, it's gonna be really, really hard to pack this up and send this back to him here in the next couple of days. But you can see obviously chronograph movement here on the dial. All black dial. It does have a date display at 3 o'clock, which means, you know, perfect for me. Let's engage the chronograph here. Very secure chronograph engagement. You get a very, very sure click when you engage the chronograph. You see here at the 9 o'clock position, you have your running seconds. At the 6 o'clock position, your hour counter, and at the 12 o'clock position, your minutes counter for the chronograph. Let's go ahead and disengage and reset. Absolutely beautiful on that flyback function. Now let's go ahead and get a wrist shot of this. At 41.5 millimeters, I actually think this is pretty perfect for me. Very, very comfortable to wear. I had no issues at all with the thickness, and I did find myself staring at my wrist a lot, timing just about anything that could be timed. The chronograph with a Valjoux 7750 movement is really just a pleasure to use. I mean, it's fun. If chronographs can be described as fun, this one sure fits that category. I do actually really love the power reserve. One thing I will say about the power reserve is that, or having power reserve indicators on the dial, I normally don't worry about whether they're wound enough. You know, I just assume that the natural movement is going to be good enough to keep it wound. But having the power reserve indicator on the dial does make me a little bit more self-conscious of what my power reserve is on the piece than when it doesn't appear on the dial. And I will note that this is not the strap that the Sinn 956 comes on. This is an aftermarket strap that's been put on there. As your clasp here. Very comfortable white stitching on the strap that more than complements the look of the Sinn. All in all, this piece was an absolute pleasure to wear. If it's something that you've been considering, I would say to go ahead and pull the trigger. I mean, I don't think you're gonna have any issues with it. If you like it, it's an absolutely beautiful piece. So that is our close detail look and review of the Sinn Rally Chronograph 956.